Peggle. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Ferret 64 podcast with me, your host, Yemmy the Ferret. Ferret 64 is, of course, the one-stop shop for video game news, occurrences, first impressions, and so much more. Really do hope you are enjoying the podcast. Let me know by smacking it with a like or leaving a comment on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or more. Or leave it a rating on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, too. I would appreciate that. Yes, I would. Today is going to be hopefully a bit of a shorter episode. My week has been rough, to say the least. My computer was freezing, just freezing when I was streaming. So I had it at the shop almost all week. I took it there Monday night. I got it back on Tuesday, tried the stream on Wednesday. It froze twice and gave me a blue screen. So I took it back that night on Wednesday, and they had it until Saturday. And then on Saturday, I brought it back to my house around like 1 o'clock or so. I did a bit of a stream. Everything seems okay. I was running bare basics. But that was my just amazing, incredible week. So I haven't been able to play a lot. I played a couple things here and there. Like I played through Modern Warfare 2 again, which, what more can I say about that? I love that game. I've been playing Pokemon Ruby Sapphire, which is a good Pokemon game on the 3DS, but I don't have much to say. I don't have anything to say about these things. So I'm going to just skip that section for this week, what I've been playing, because I really haven't been playing anything. But what I did do this week was I built a new shelf for my games. And I'm going to put pictures over here, or maybe I'll just put them in as a big thing. I don't know. But I built this shelf with my dad. I got it for Christmas, so thank you for that. It's going to be able to hold a lot of games. I'm not done arranging things on it. I think I'm going to move my PSP games to this shelf as well. But right now it has PS2, Wii, GameCube, and Switch on there, which are some of the moderately sized game collections. It also has my Genesis games down there too. But those are my smaller to moderate size collection. So PS2 obviously being the biggest of the bunch, with the Switch being right next to it. I was thinking of bringing the PS3, 4, and 5 games and putting them on this shelf as well, but I'm pretty sure that would just fill out the entire thing. Because my PS3, 4, 5 collection is massive, and it keeps growing pretty much every week. So I decided not to do that. I'm keeping those games downstairs on my other shelf. That I'll keep building that. And then I also redid my console shelf, which I'll put a picture here or here, wherever. And on that shelf, because I used to just have you can kind of see it down here. Hopefully I'm not being stupid and covering it. I have my older consoles. I have a PS3 Fat Boy, which doesn't work anymore, an Xbox 360 Elite, which red ringed on me. I have my PS3 Slim, which is still working, and my PS4, which is iffy. And that's just from use. I mean, I used all 4 of these consoles to death back in the day. That's really the only thing that I had was this little spot here. But now that I have the big shelf, I have my PSVR 2 on there. I have the GameCube and Wii's. I have the PSP, PS1, PS2. I'm pretty sure I'm going to put the DS there as well once I'm done with that. I got the Dreamcast and Genesis on there, the N64 plus all its games and controllers, the Wii Zappers over there as well. You might be able to see that. Oh, and the Xbox 360, the new one that I got, I don't know what they call it, the Slim, the Elite, whatever. That is also down the bottom with the joystick controller for the Genesis, which was it's just like a massive thing. that that joystick controller is so weird. But yeah, I mean that was like my project, and then I did a stream for it, where I was just putting all my games onto that shelf, which I thought was pretty fun, pretty chill time. We used one of my old mics. I was able to get like a long USB-C cable and walk around and go over there and do my thing. I thought it turned out pretty good. I think I needed to turn up the mic gain a little bit, but c'est la vie. So yeah, that was my week. I had a rough week, and I'm ready for this whole problem to be solved. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump into the first part of this episode, which is what's in the news. All right, first up, Randy Pitchford. He is losing all his marbles along with his USB sticks. This guy is probably one of the worst spokesmen in the game industry right now. It wasn't that long ago that I was praising and excited for Borderlands 4. It was like 2 weeks ago at this point, maybe. I was excited. The trailer was good. They talked about a lot of things that I think that the series needed to do, and to it just looked good in general. It just looked good in general. And I was like, okay, I'm sold. Well, Randy Pitchford and the geniuses over at 2K Games have conspired to completely derail and burn any hype that was being built for Borderlands 4. Randy Pitchford at the forefront of this is the biggest dingus in the room. When asked, well, I guess I should start with, there's a strong possibility that Borderlands 4 is going to be an $80 game. And a lot of people, whether it be on Twitter or whatever, were very upset. Obviously very upset. I personally am a bit upset because, even though Nintendo's like, hey, we're selling Mario Kart World for $80. Right now, in that bundle, it's only $50. Technically, the game is not $80 until someone decides to buy it separately from the console for $80, right? And that's not me trying to defend Nintendo. No, don't get me wrong. Like, the $80 for Mario Kart World seems egregious as well. But the fact of the matter is that technically right now, Mario Kart World, even though it's listed at $80, you can get it for $50. Because I believe most people are going to buy the bundle. So all these companies following, in quotation marks, Nintendo, don't put that into account. They just go, oh, $80 game? We can make our games $80 too. It seems more like a greed thing than a consumerism thing or a economic thing. Because it wasn't that long ago, I mean, probably about 5 years ago, that games became $70. And a lot of us in the gaming universe, in the gaming landscape, were okay with that. It seemed like a natural progression. Games are more expensive to make. We had all that stuff lined up. Maybe it was a bit of cope, maybe not. But it seemed like, okay, fine. We'll take some $70 games in here as long as they are the $70 experiences. And for the most part, I felt like, God of War Ragnarok and a couple other $70 games out there. It seemed to the price seemed to fit. They seemed worth the $70 price tag. And even nowadays, like, you don't see a lot of $70 games. Like, sure, there are $70 games. Like, PlayStation still has their batch of like Ghost of Yotai and Death Stranding. And obviously Xbox trying to sell like Indiana Jones and Doom for $70 as well. So it's not like there isn't $70 games out there, but there is a fair mix of pricing. Anything from $40 to $70 at this point. Obviously now $80 for the Switch 2 game. So I don't understand why Borderlands 4 needs to be $80, or it will be. I don't understand if it will be $80. I don't understand. At this point, there's been so much criticism for this price point. It's hard to believe that a company like 2K, who is relatively greedy, especially with their NBA games. But it is pretty crazy that they will go from like Borderlands 3 and that Tiny Tina game. I think Borderlands 3 was $60, and the Tiny Tina game that came out, Wonderlands, I believe that was like a $50 game when it came out. It's hard to believe that a company that was so fair with their pricing all of a sudden needs to charge $80 for the Borderlands 4 game, which doesn't look like it's going to be anything more than what Borderlands 2 or 3 was in terms of how big the world is. And am I happy to pay $80 for this? Obviously not. Am I going to buy it for $80? Maybe. The thing about it is, though, like, I buy enough things from Best Buy. I get a lot of points and rewards points there. I could buy this. I could do a $25 gift card and get it for a $60 price tag, essentially. So that's probably what I would do if it is $80. But I'm not happy with the $80 price tag. I don't think anyone's going to be. I mean, people are still not happy with the Mario Kart World price tag. That game isn't even out yet. And maybe when it does come out, it will be worth $80. I doubt it, but it's possible. The same thing could be said about Borderlands 4. Obviously, $80 is just a big price tag. It's something that we weren't, as a gaming community, expecting or ready for, even though various sources were like, hey, get ready for this price hike. $70 was already a stretch. $80, though, I mean, that's the price of like a controller nowadays. I mean, that's like... It's just we're inching ever so closer to that $100 price tag, which people are expecting the next Grand Theft Auto to be. So people have been asking Randy Pitchford on Twitter and stuff like that, like, hey, please don't do this. Really push back against this. Like, no one wants to pay $80 for this. And what he said was, not my call. If you're a real fan, you'll find a way to make it happen. And this outright not only pissed me off, but this pissed off the entirety of the gaming landscape. And this was one of the worst responses I have ever seen in my life. Worse than anything that I have seen in my life for a video game. Like, a high up, like, CEO type guy making a statement. If you're a real fan, you'll find a way to make it happen. Fuck you. Like, absolutely, unequivocally, fuck you. Go fuck yourself. Okay? Real fans? You're going to talk about real fans? The fans who have been hanging on by a thread after Borderlands 3? The real fans who have been with the company since day one and helped build Gearbox to what it is? The real fans who have bought every single game and every single DLC fairly priced? The real fans are gonna find a way to make it happen. With this one statement, all of your real fans who have been helping you build your company since the original Borderlands and probably before that, you have immediately pissed off all of those fans, especially the ones who are the biggest fans of the property, of the Borderlands property. I've shown it up before. I have a Borderlands tattoo on my arm. Okay? Am I not a real fan because I'm not willing to pay $80 for the next game in the series? Am I not a real fan? I've played every single game. I've bought every single DLC for these goddamn games. I mean, I'm not a real fan though because I don't want to pay $80 for this game. I don't want to. Will I? Maybe. But like I said, I have ways to reduce that price if it is $80. Still bullshit, a complete bullshit, but it is what it is. At this point, I feel like if they go ahead and they put this out for $80, 2K is going to be under so much scrutiny and so much pressure that I don't think this game is going to sell. Like, if you put this out for $80 right now, you are literally putting the gun to your head. And like, I think people were more than willing to accept a $70 price tag for this game in general and for a lot of games. But when you hike it up to $80 for no conceivable reason other than, oh, well, we like money, it looks bad. It looks bad. So Randy Pitchford did make a better statement. I don't know if this was before or after his whole remark. But he said during the panel at PAX East, on one level, we've got a competitive marketplace where the people that make the choices want to sell as many units as possible. And they want to be careful about people that are price sensitive. There are some folks who don't want to see prices go up, even the ones deciding what the prices are. These other folks accepting the reality that game budgets are increasing and there's tariffs for the retail packaging. It's getting gnarly out there, you guys. Borderlands 4 has more than twice the development budget of Borderlands 3, more than twice. So the truth is, I don't know what the price is going to be. See, that's the only, literally that's the only thing he had to say, and people would have probably been fine. But because he had to be a dickbag and he had to word his last statement in a way that just ostracized the entire group of people who have supported Borderlands from day one, it just looks really bad for not only him, but for the company, for Borderlands as a whole, for Gearbox as a whole, for 2K as a whole. The statement that I just read out is not perfect. I don't agree with some of the things he says here, and I don't believe some of the things he says here, but at least it's a more well thought out and better explained reasoning for what the price could be. Should it still be $80? I think no, I don't. I mean, even if the budget for the game is double, as a lot of people know, Borderlands 3, no matter what you think of it, is still sold well above the expectations for the series. And the same thing can happen with Borderlands 4 if you just get your fucking head out of your ass. Sell it for $70. It'll make back the profits. I can almost guarantee it, because Borderlands, it's a big series. People love it. It's coming to all of the platforms, including Switch 2. You're going to make money on all those platforms. It's not going to be on a streaming service like Xbox Game Pass or PlayStation Plus, as of we know. You're going to make all your profits back. I can almost guarantee it. There's already people who are more than willing to get the collector's edition and the digital deluxe editions and just the regular edition of the game in general with the pre-order bonuses. I'm sure there's going to be plenty of people. Borderlands is not a small indie game that maybe is not in the cultural zeitgeist. No, this is a game that has cemented itself with its genre-defining gun, looter shooter stuff inside of it that has cemented itself for years. It is nostalgic for people. It is a brand new experience for people. It opened the doorway for a lot of other looter shooter games like Destiny to come out and be as successful as they are. And if the company is so distraught, we spent so much money on this game, there's no way we can make our profit back. Maybe that's more them showing their full hand. Maybe the game is not that good. Maybe that whole state of play for it, maybe it was just the best bits and there's nothing else to it. I mean, I don't know. It's a very strange thing going on right now. I am more than unhappy about this whole debacle. $80 price tag, I'm annoyed by that for sure. But these comments by Randy Pitchford is just hey, at what point are you going to be this guy is a terrible spokesperson for our company, let's get him out of here. Not only has he done some shady shit in the past, he lost his USB stick with stuff on it, but he's also making these abrupt and absurd statements on whatever, whether it be on Twitter or whatever, that's making the company look even worse. Does he have a measured response mixed in here? Yes. Does it save this entire debacle? No. So yeah, it seems more than likely at this point that Borderlands 4 will be $80, and maybe Randy Pitchford is trying to just be like, I'm just calling it as it is. I'm getting you all prepared for it." And he's trying to be like the hero, like, "Oh, he told us it was going to be $80. He mentioned it might be $80. He was just trying to prepare us." Fuck that. Do you not think that he has some sort of sway with the publishing company to go out there and be like, "Hey, we should definitely make this like a $70 experience. It'll sell." But Randy Pitchford and the other greedy people at 2K are like, "Well, we can make a little bit of extra money if we just put it to $80. We'll lose a bit of sales in terms of like how many copies are being sold because $80 is a high price tag, but that'll make up for the difference. The extra $20 will make up the difference." Honestly, Borderlands 4 probably could be a $60 experience. We all know that. I don't know. I don't know. I think I'm just about done with this news article, but let me know what you think in the comments below. All right, PlayStation Stars rewards program is officially shutting down. Sony confirmed it by sending emails out to every single member and telling them it is what it is. So in a blog post on PlayStation's blog, they stated that starting today, which was Wednesday last week, PlayStation Stars is no longer accepting new members to the program. If members choose to cancel their PlayStation Stars membership today, it will not be possible to rejoin, and members will lose all their earned points. Current PlayStation Stars members can still earn digital collectibles points and level up their stars until July 23rd, 2025. After that date, there will be no new PlayStation Stars campaigns available or any additional rewards or status benefits to earn. This version of PlayStation Stars program will fully end on November 2nd, 2026, and current PlayStation Stars members can continue to redeem points as long as their points don't expire before then. So this Stars program hasn't really been around for that long. I thought it was a cool idea, like having these little like, I don't know, quote unquote NFT like things that you could purchase or earn through doing things. Like one of the first things they gave out was a Secret Agent Clank figurine, digital figurine. And I thought it was kind of cute, like harkening back to some old properties that I mean, it's the easiest fucking win for them. Like, "Oh, I really love Jack and Daxter. This is a really cool thing." Or, "I really love Sly Cooper. Look at this little like digital thing that I got." It's an easy win for them just to kind of revive some series or keep the nostalgia flowing for those series. I have not used PlayStation Stars in probably about a year now. I haven't even logged on to the PlayStation app because there really wasn't anything going on with it. Like, I think you could redeem some points for gift cards and stuff like that, but I never really saw the full application of this program. I felt like, yeah, it was cool to have like a little bit of a goal to complete, like, oh, log in and play a PlayStation Plus game, or play one of these new releases from the month, and you can get some points, and you can spend those points on blah blah blah, or you can get a new figure for your collection. Like, that's great. I think the main problem is that the PlayStation 5 itself and the PlayStation interface did not integrate those little figurines. On the app, you could do a showcase. Like, here's my favorite or my most rare figures. And then on the PS5, you couldn't show them off. Like, there was no Stars tab on the PS5. It was all just on your phone. And I feel like that was really a bad idea. And hopefully with the next iteration of whatever the Stars program is going to be, they will add in more integration for the actual console itself. Because I think most people who log into PlayStation are not doing it on their phone. Like, have I used the phone before? Yes, I have used the app before. I've used it to send over a download request to my PlayStation 5 for a new game that came out, and I forgot to download it. I've just been at work and be like, "Oh shoot, I forgot to download whatever." So I pull it up on my phone and I would go, "Okay, send to console." It has to be in sleep mode, but I usually keep it in sleep mode, and it would download it. And by the time I got home, it'd be all updated and ready to go. So it's just one of those things where it's like I felt like the application had its like quirks, but it wasn't fully realized. It wasn't fully integrated. Because I don't think there's a lot of people using the PlayStation app for like a social media. It's literally just a companion to the PlayStation 5, and not a great one, but a good enough. So yeah, PlayStation Star is shutting down next year, November 2026, and we'll see what they decide to do after that. They're probably working on the successor to it right now, and they're expected to be done with it by November of 2026. I'm guessing that there will be a short period where there's nothing, and then probably the year after, like 2027, they'll start the new program. All right, Elden Ring is getting a movie from A24, directed by Alex Garland, and George R. Martin will be a producer on the movie. So this has been rumored for quite some time, but we officially have confirmation that Bandai Namco has teamed up with A24 to produce and make an Elden Ring movie. I think that it could be an interesting concept to make a movie around this. I don't know how they're going to adapt such a lore-heavy story into the whole thing. I mean, obviously, if you know Elden Ring and you're going to go into this movie, you probably don't need all that lore, but I'm sure there'll be a lot of audience members going in and being like, oh, what's this Elden Ring? I just think it's kind of crazy that we're getting so many video game movies now. I mean, we just had that the abysmal Until Dawn movie, and we know that there's several other movies in the works right now based off of video games. Some more obvious than others. But yeah, I mean, it just seems kind of weird that like all of a sudden all these video game movies are just being greenlit, and I mean, obviously they probably don't have a plan right now for the whole thing, but I would guess that it's going to be some sort of like, you remember that Dungeons and Dragons movie that came out a couple years ago? It might be something like that where it's a group of travelers who are all quirky in their own, their own personality, and they're going to travel through the land of the tarnished. But we'll see exactly. I mean, A24 is known for their more like out there, kind of more horror oriented movies. So they could also be something like that where it's more of like a down to earth kind of like, almost semi horror esque, genre. Hard to say though, because we have really no information other than it's being produced right now. It's just starting. It's just starting. So yeah, we'll wait to hear more about that. Will be probably I'm gonna guess about 5 years until the Elden Ring movie actually comes out. All right, the FTC versus Xbox conundrum has officially come to a close. This past week, the FTC was told that the court case was going to be dismissed. The public interest is best served by dismissing the administrative litigation in this case. I love lawyer talk. It's my favorite thing to read. Brad Smith, who is currently the president of Microsoft, said this is a victory for players across the country and for the common sense of Washington, D.C. Interesting. So yeah, the FTC was informed by the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals that the commission hadn't been able to conceive that Xbox's takeover Activision Blizzard would substantially lessen competition in the relevant markets. So because of that, the court case has been dropped, and the FTC has effectively lost the case. I mean, personally, after all was said and done, you kind of knew that this was going to happen eventually. But when it was at its hottest moment, I was like, "Fuck it, just block this shit," because Xbox was being such a little baby about it, crying about, "Oh, our console sales aren't as good," and "Oh, woe is us, so woe is us. Look at this market share." It's like, yeah, we all know that, and we all knew that, like, going into this, like, this Blizzard deal was going to go through anyway because of the fact that, yes, Xbox is like the third in all categories for everything video game related. They barely beat out some of the bigger indie studios out there, right? Console sales, obviously not as good. Game sales, obviously not as good because of the fact that they use Xbox Game Pass as a subscription service. Like, they do it to themselves. I was talking about holding the gun to their own head for the Borderlands 4 thing. Microsoft does that to themselves all the time, and then they blame the market. They blame, whatever. But it's like, no, I mean, look in the mirror. Like, the fact that you are putting every single first-party game onto Xbox Game Pass, like Doom: The Dark Ages, which right now is suffering in sales because of the fact that 2 million players are playing on Xbox Game Pass right now. I mean, you have to know that you're not going to recoup some of these costs simply because of the fact that, yeah, these games are being put out for no extra charge on a service that is a good deal. And who knows what they're going to do? Maybe they'll increase the price of it in the future. I'm guessing that they will. But as of right now, like, that's it. It's completely written out on the board. Like, there is no questions about it. You are doing this to yourself. And I've been talking about this for years now, literal years, ever since Microsoft started to be a little baby about it. I've been talking about the fact that they literally are doing this to themselves. They are literally the the person behind the mask. It's like, oh no, who's causing Microsoft to fail? Old man Jenkins? No. It's just Microsoft. It's just them doing it to themselves. Is it great for the players and the gamers out there who are gaming on a budget? Yes, obviously. This is great for the gamers out there. But Xbox cannot turn around and be like, our pro. Like, they can't turn around and start sobbing because they are the ones effectively doing this. Recently, they upped their prices on their games and their consoles. This is not going to help their market in this, their corner of the market at all, because PlayStation hasn't increased their prices. The Switch 2 is priced relatively fairly, in my opinion. So yeah, who's going to go over to an Xbox? Who's going to buy an Xbox Series X for like $500? Or what is it now, $550? I don't think anyone's going to be doing that, especially because I think most people are PC gamers at this point, even though there is a large chunk of Switch and PlayStation players for sure. I think people who are Xbox players are not really gaming on their Xbox. Obviously, there's a lot of people who still do game on like their Series X and S's. Don't get me wrong, but I do think that a majority of players who are playing Microsoft games are doing so on the PC at this point. And Microsoft owns Windows. And Xbox Game Pass is obviously downloaded mostly on Windows computers. Even though, once again, there's always an asterisk where it's like, okay, there are Apple users and Linux users out there, sure, okay, but I think for the most part, if you're looking at from a wide angle, Game Pass users are mostly on Windows PCs, and Xbox users are mostly now moving over to gaming PCs. Because at the end of the day, why am I going to buy an Xbox Series X that has a disk drive and, is an Xbox console that's going to be outdated in a couple years? Maybe it's already outdated. I don't know. Why am I going to do that when I can just get a gaming PC, or I can just get Xbox Game Pass on my current computer, or I can just, get the handheld console that's going to be coming out, which will be a Game Pass machine as well, like the Xbox Series S. Why don't I just get those cheaper options? So yeah, I think at this point, it was, of course, Xbox is going to win this, and it was going to be dropped because, yes, Xbox is actually the weakest player in the from the big three console producers. So it's a self-inflicted wound, but the facts are that, yes, Xbox is struggling in every single metric, and no, adding Activision Blizzard to their repertoire is not going to hurt them in the long run. It's probably going to generate them more money, especially with Call of Duty and stuff like that. But now they can't. I mean, look, anytime they decide to piss and moan and cry, I'm going to be the one sitting here saying, you guys are doing this to yourselves. You are literally the person at fault here for how your business is doing. So we'll see what happens in the future, but as of right now, FTC has been dropped, and we'll see what Xbox does now with their newfound freedom. All right, NetherRealm Studios is officially moving on from Mortal Kombat 1. Last week I was talking about how the definitive edition of Mortal Kombat 1 came out, and people were very concerned. Well, now we have an official statement from Mortal Kombat from their post on X. We are hearing players' requests for continued game support of Mortal Kombat 1, and while we will continue to support Mortal Kombat 1 through balance adjustments and fixes, there will not be additional DLC characters or story chapters released from this point on. We understand this will be disappointing for fans, but our team at NetherRealm needs to shift focus to the next project in order to make it as great as we possibly can. Yeah, I think that this is very disappointing for a lot of people who bought into Mortal Kombat 1 expecting it to be a game that lasts for years upon years. Right now, I mean, it's only lasted about 2 years at this point, less than 2 years at this point, which is a bit disappointing for people who bought like the $150 version of the game that was supposed to include all the DLC ever released. And I think if you put up like the price tag with the DLC that has come out like individually, it does kind of even out, but not really. Also, the fact that the definitive edition is $70 for all the DLC and the story that they added in. Like, yeah, you're like I said last week, you were out like $50 from that day one purchase. And I mean, I don't know. I mean, this game does have a lot of fans. I was not one of them. I thought that like in terms of like story and gameplay wise, it was a bit weak. Even though I still really enjoyed it, like I think I gave it like a 4 out of 5. Like I still had fun with it. I thought that the combat was the worst that the series has had in quite some time, in my opinion. And the story was like fine, but you know, it had that bombastic ending for sure. But you know, I'm not going to sit here and talk about that anymore. But where people are expecting them to be working on the next Injustice game. It's been a while since Injustice 2 came out. Which, you know, oddly enough, Injustice 2, even though it's not really supported anymore, it still has a pretty alive player base. I booted that up about a year ago, and there were people still playing online and doing challenges and stuff like that for those things. Injustice 2 made the terrible decision, though, to have random drops from these, like, cubes, and trophies were tied behind moves that were behind those random cubes. The last thing I needed for the Platinum Trophy in Injustice 2 was the cat, like a special Catwoman move from a random drop, and I could never get it to drop throughout my entire time playing the game religiously to letting the game sit for a while and then update the game and try and go back and do it. I could not get that fucking move to drop for Catwoman. So it's been sitting at 98% on my trophy list since the fucking like game came out, essentially. It was just so annoying, so fucking annoying. Hopefully they don't do that with Injustice 2. I'm sorry, 3, Injustice 3. I'm hoping that they go back to more of like maybe like a Mortal Kombat style where it's like, okay, you have these different like character skins, but the movesets are a bit different between each of the skins. And that's the thing about Injustice 2 is it followed the Mortal Kombat X style of, maybe it wasn't X, maybe it was 11. Actually, I don't remember. Injustice 2 had the armor sets, right? So it wasn't like, you wouldn't get like skins like Injustice 1. And I thought that was just a terrible idea for Injustice 2. That like, you know, the armor and change of the character, how they looked and stuff like that, sure, but I didn't exactly like some of the armor sets, even though it was the best. And then I think Mortal Kombat 11 followed through with the armor stuff because that was like easiest to do, copy and paste that system over. But anyway, I digress. Mortal Kombat 1 is officially done, and they are moving on to the next game that they're working on. Speaking of moving on to the next game they're working on, Stellar Blade, the sequel has officially been announced, and they are going to try and get it out by 2027, which, I mean, it's only 2 years away. Like, I mean, obviously they probably were working on something in the background already, but holy shit. Like, that is pretty crazy. So yeah, on this timeline that they set up, they want to do a platform expansion for the original Stellar Blade before the sequel comes out. So I'm guessing probably in 2026 or so, they will release it onto other platforms like Nintendo Switch and Xbox. And of course, the PC version is coming soon, so I'm sure that's gonna bring in a whole group of new fans as well, which is probably gonna help fund this sequel. But yeah, the sequel is planned to be released in 2027, and then they also have something called Project Witches, which is, I mean, it's probably something that's in development or going to be in development after the sequel to Stellar Blade comes out. I need to give Stellar Blade another chance. I think I took a bit of a too long of a break, and I lost the control scheme, and you know, it's one of those games where the combat is really good. and the story is decent, and the graphics are stellar. Stellar Blade. But if you take too long of a break, you start to forget some of the more nuanced things that they do with the controls, some of the moves of the controls and stuff like that. It's kind of what happened to me. And in the end, I felt like it was kind of tough to battle multiple enemies at the same time with how the moveset was mapped out. But I need to go back and give it another chance. I might stream it eventually. Who knows? But as of this point, Stellar Blade sequel is now in development, and they are planning for a 2027 release. And speaking of sequels, the Cyberpunk sequel. We have some more information about that. Currently, it's codenamed Orion, and you will be going back to Night City. However, the map is going to be tripled in size, doubled in size, because you will be able to go to Chicago. So I'm guessing there's going to be quite a lot of driving in this game, maybe a much larger map. But yeah, you'll be going to Chicago Gone Wrong, which kind of sounds like a old school YouTube video. Yeah, Chicago Gone Wrong. So let me see here. They didn't give a lot of information about it. They just said that it's not gonna feel like Blade Runner. It's gonna be Chicago Gone Wrong. That's the only thing that they said. So as of right now, not much information there. Hopefully this game comes out in a better state than the original one did. But I feel like I have more faith in Cyberpunk now because of the fact that they went through that whole ordeal, and I think they got really kicked in the face. And I think it was really more so the investors' faults too, because they were like, put this game out. We're losing money here. So yeah, Cyberpunk sequel gonna be going to Chicago or maybe the remnants of Chicago, but it sounds like the map is gonna be much bigger, and they're probably gonna put more detail into Night City than before. So we'll go from there. And then finally, for the news today, Nintendo is opening up a 4th store in Japan. Nintendo Fukuoka. So this will be opening at the end of 2025. This is going to be in the JR Hakata City Amu Plaza, which is a large shopping mall consisting of clothing stores, furnishing retailers, restaurants, and more. Fukuoka is the 6th largest city in Japan and the capital of the Fukuoka Prefecture. It's located within the Kyushu Island. I am embarrassing myself right now. Of Japan, meaning it's significantly separated from the main industry island of Honshu, home of Tokyo, Kyoto, Osaka, and more. So yeah, this will officially open later in 2025, probably towards the end of 2025, which is pretty cool for people who live in Japan. For us Americans and other Europeans, we can only hope that more stores will eventually open in places giving us more access to this. Like right now, probably the closest store to me would be New York, obviously, because San Francisco is across the country. But it's still a good plane ride or drive to get there. So it's not like it's the easiest thing to get to. So I'm hoping that they start popping up more of these stores in like the major cities across the United States. It would be nice to maybe see something a little bit closer to Cleveland, or maybe one in Cleveland. Nintendo Cleveland coming soon. Anyway, that is it for the news. Let's go ahead and move on to what's coming soon. Hellblade 2 is officially coming to PS5. It's going to come out in summer. So if you never played the game on Xbox Game Pass, or if you didn't get a chance to, you can now get your chance with the Enhanced Edition coming out on PS5. Now, they did say it's going to come out for both the regular and the enhanced version, like the Pro version of the game of the consoles. The enhanced version is going to add immersive haptic feedback for new ways to experience the game, along with 4K resolution, I believe. Yeah, they just say added features along with PS5 Pro support. So I'm going to guess that there's going to be like, 4K resolution and stuff like that. Funny enough, Hellblade started as a PlayStation 4 exclusive. If you don't recall, it was an exclusive for like a year or so, maybe. And then Xbox bought the studio and had them make that Bleeding Cool game or whatever it's called. What was it called? Holy shit. Uh, Bleeding Edge. Bleeding Edge, which was a complete 180 from what they fucking did with Hellblade. So, anyway, that being said, it's nice to see a full circle moment where the sequel of Hellblade is finally coming to PlayStation 5. I don't believe that there is a physical edition planned, but we'll have to wait and see on that. But yeah, the game is officially coming to PlayStation later this year in summer. All right, there was a bit of a Warhammer showcase this past week, and three big things were announced. One of them being a remaster for Warhammer 40k Space Marine, the original. This will not be coming to PS5 right away, but it is coming to Xbox and PC, including Xbox Game Pass. So you'll be able to play the original Warhammer 40k Space Marine on Game Pass and PC as well if you want to check that out. This original game, it's pretty fun. It's a bit monotonous and repetitive, but I do enjoy ripping through the various orcs with your chainsaw sword and whatnot. I think it'll be a fun little blast from the past to play if you are a fan of Space Marine 2. Personally, I don't think that people are gonna like super love this game after playing Space Marine 2 because Space Marine 2 obviously is like crazy good graphics, nice gameplay, stuff like it's got all the like the fixins. But Space Marine, the original Space Marine, I did play that back in the day, and I also replayed it on stream a couple of years ago at this point. But it's crazy to think that game came out in 2011, so it's over 10 years old at this point. I don't know if they're doing too much to it per redoing the graphics and stuff like that. It looks like they obviously helped with the lighting effects and stuff like that, but it looks like the gameplay and the character models themselves have not been like changed too much. They did say that the game will play in 4K resolution. They've obviously enhanced some of the mechanics in the game and changed up some stuff as well. So if you're a fan of this game and you've been waiting for a port of it to come out eventually, here you go, enhanced for a new generation. I do not believe there's going to be a physical version of this, but we will wait and see. And then Bolt Gun. Bolt Gun is getting a sequel. Bolt Gun 2. This is going to come out in 2026. They did not show off too much about it other than the new logo and a snippet of gameplay. Looks relatively the same to Bolt Gun. I'm not going to sit here and like praise it because even though they showed off a couple new enemy types and stuff like that, the game itself looks largely the same. And I think the main problem with Bolt Gun, the original one, was the fact that it was so monotonous and repetitive with the same enemy types, nothing really new being added in, boss fights being repeated over and over again. It was still like a fun experience, and I would recommend like checking it out, especially because it was free on PlayStation Plus this month and whatever. Like, yeah, at least check it out. But I don't know if Bolt Gun 2 is gonna like really sell me on this, But yeah, we'll see what Bolt Gun 2 has in store for us. We'll probably get some more trailers closer to its launch. And then finally, for the Warhammer news, the new Horde mode for Space Marine 2 will be out on June 26th. It's going to officially be called Siege Mode. You'll be able to team up with other players to fight off waves of course, foes. It'll have the same progression system as existing co-op missions, so you'll be able to dive right in with your favorite class. They're going to be launching more stuff for the Horde mode as the year goes on, but right now they are launching it on June 26th with the bare necessities, fighting off against major waves of enemies. So there you go. This is going to be a free update as well, so you don't need to pay anything extra for it. Speaking of free expansions, Pokemon TCG Pocket is getting another expansion pack soon, May 29th, at the end of this month, which is crazy because the last expansion came out at the beginning of this month, which had 2 packs that you could open. I'm pretty well through the packs, but the drop rates have been getting pretty abysmal, okay? You have the best chance of collecting every single card immediately when the packs come out, right? Right now, we're just getting decimated by these drop rates right now. Like I can barely get a full art to save my life at this point. But that's not to say that I'm not enjoying the experience still. I think that it's a great experience in terms of like Pokemon like trading card game. I really still really enjoy it. This new pack is called Extra Dimensional Crisis. It is only going to feature one pack of cards, but there is about 100 new cards coming with this pack. There will be new EX cards, trainer cards, and of course, the Sun and Moon Ultra Beasts. This is another set themed around Sun and Moon. I think it's more so Sun and Moon themed than the last two sets. But yeah, Sun and Moon. So you'll be getting Ultra Beasts, which are, I guess, just super powerful cards. I don't think there's really anything in terms of like gameplay mechanics that are going to really change. These are just cards that are really good. Ultra Beasts. The EX cards will still give your opponent 2 points when knocked out. It's not like the Ultra Beast moniker really does anything. It just kind of shows like, oh, these are really tough Pokemon. Like there's one called Blasphalion, who does an attack for 130 damage, but it does 70 damage to itself with only 100 HP. Like I feel like this is not a good card, especially because you need to give it 3 energy to do that. I feel like these Ultra Beasts are going to be kind of annoying, simply because a lot of them, even though they have really powerful attacks, like this one, Buzzwole, its big beat attack, which takes 3 energy, says during your next turn, this Pokemon can't use big beats, so you couldn't use it 2 turns in a row. So there's a big negative side to some of these things. Here's another one called Nihilego, which is an Ultra Beast basic Pokemon. It has the ability to okay, so your opponent's active Pokemon takes 10 extra damage from being poisoned. So that means that an opponent's Pokemon will have 20 damage instead of 10 damage every time it's poisoned, which is pretty good. And the base move, which is 2 energy, says that your opponent's Pokemon is now poisoned. So that's actually a really good combo there for sure. Like that's a good Ultra Beast. But these other two, not so much in my opinion. Probably not going to be very meta for the battle system. But I will say it's nice that they keep adding on to this app, but they're going a bit fast for me. And I think they're going a bit fast for a lot of people. They either need to adjust drop rates with older packs, especially building up to a new pack drop, or they just need to go a bit slower with these drops. Every month is pretty taxing to try and collect as many cards as you can, because when a new set comes out, you're not going to want to go back to the old set because you're like, well, I need the best time to collect cards for the set is like right now when it's new. So you're going to go through a whole month of trying to collect cards for these for the new expansions just to have another set come out. So it's hard to like, especially if you're late to the game. Like if you join the TCG Pocket now, you were like 7 expansions late, and you're going to need to really build up your decks. The thing about the TCG is it's always changing. Like the battle mechanics and stuff like that, there's always new metas coming out for battling with your Pokemon and stuff like that. Like I had a really good electric deck with the Alolan Raichu, but then like the meta became like, okay, well, actually the Springado deck is much better because you can take out EX cards faster. And a lot of people just use those quote unquote god cards from the past sets, like the Darkrai and stuff like that, who are basic Pokemon that are EX cards. So, it's like there's this whole meta circling around this whole thing, and I would love to just like create a deck with like my favorite Pokemon in it, but that's just not how it's going to work. So right now, my Springado deck, it used to have Executor and whatever, Alolan Executor, whatever. But that was like the random chance of like flipping a coin, and if you get tails, nothing happens, was just too detrimental. So I changed it to a Rowlet with the Springado, which seems to be a much better combination. And I don't know if I'm the first person to really start using this combo, but yeah, in my opinion, it beats out any other Springado combination as of right now. So it's one of those things where it's like it's always evolving. With these new cards coming out, it's obviously going to add more meta in there. People are probably going to be putting decks based around some of these cards, and it's probably going to work out, especially for this this jellyfish card that I talked about earlier with the poison ability. Like I feel like that's a great card. And there's a lot of poison ability Pokemon out there, like your Mucks and stuff like that. But this seems like it's going to be a really good card to at least have on your bench with that ability to make it plus 20 damage instead of plus 10. I think that's going to be a real game changer for these dark themed decks and stuff like that. So, yeah, new expansion coming out for Pokemon. This is going to launch on May 29th. And actually, it's more so May 30th because it's 11 p.m. Pacific time. So, yeah, May 30th is when the pack is officially going to release Extra Dimensional Crisis. All right, Shadow Labyrinth had a new trailer, and I think the release date was already revealed, July 18th. But they did show off more about these mazes that you're going to be going through, which seems to be some, like, I don't know if it's side content or just like some interesting things going on for like boss fights or something like that. But essentially, it makes it into more of a Pac-Man type game by having you go across these like weird mazes with ghosts and stuff like that, where you want to eat up all the ghosts, and the faster you do that, obviously, the more cherries or whatever you get. But it seems like it's gonna. I mean, this game is looking very bizarre and very interesting. Okay, like this is looking like it's gonna be some like weird off the wall thing, and I mean, I'm kind of there for it. It seems like it's gonna be pretty cool. This is either gonna work really well or it's gonna flop, and I'm hoping for it to work really well, but you never know. They also revealed what was going to be inside of the deluxe edition, or I'm sorry, collector's edition. So you're going to get the base game, which I believe is going to be a digital code, a shadow box, the collector's box, the art journal, a double-sided poster 18 by 12, a bright light keychain, a 4-piece enamel pin set, glow-in-the-dark stickers, iridescent stickers, and a booklet case, which will all be available for, I think, like $120 or something like that. So, yeah, if you want to check that stuff out, there you go. Yeah, this whole Shadow Labyrinth game kind of being kind of nutty, kind of looking kind of nutty. I mean, it was already nutty, but it's really nutty. All right, The Wandering Village is coming out July 17th. It's officially launching on PS4 and PS5 now. Before it was just on Switch and Steam. But now it's officially going to launch on PS4, PS5, and Xbox as well. This is the interesting game where you essentially build a village on top of a moving beast. And I thought that was a really cool idea. I think I'm definitely going to be checking this one out when it comes out. I'll probably get it on Steam because, mouse and keyboard, obviously. Maybe I'll get on Switch. No, I'm not going to get on Switch. But, yeah, I think it's just a cool idea where this whole entire village is moving around. And obviously, where it goes depends on, like, okay, well, now your environment's changing, or maybe now you run into like a group of barbarians or whatever who attack your village. So I think it's kind of cool. There will be a physical release for this game, so that's actually really nice, and actually kind of makes me more so. You're like, okay, maybe I should get like a physical version of this. I think it's a really cool idea to put a physical edition of this game out. But there is also going to be a collector's edition of this as well, or maybe like a deluxe edition with an art book, a canvas poster, a wooden pin set, postcards, double-sided postcards, a rubber keychain, a 5-inch, one of those like plastic, like those plastic standees things, the soundtrack, a digital download of the soundtrack, and a washi sticker sheet. So yeah, if you want to check that out, that's coming soon. Seems like a really cool concept, though. I think it's in early access on Steam right now. So once the official release hits, it'll go to every console with version 1.0. There you go. All right, the cult classic Siberia is getting a remaster, and it's coming out later this year. This is a point-and-click game that released back in 2002 on the PS2, I believe. So they are remastering all the environments. They're probably, obviously they're remastering the lighting effects and stuff like that. So this is looking to be like a really nice upgrade for people who are fans of the Siberia series. I believe there's like 6 or so games in the series right now. So it's about time that they bring back this cult classic, the original one, because it's been quite some time. This will include a stunning visual overhaul, redesigned gameplay, and the same captivating storytelling that made it a classic. So, yeah, I think that people who are fans of Siberia will be happy with this. If you don't know what this is, like I said, it's a point-and-click game where you play as Kate Walker, who is a brilliant lawyer from New York, who was sent to a remote village in the French Alps to finalize the sale of an old automaton factory. But what begins as a routine assignment soon turns into an extraordinary journey across Eastern Europe and its snow-covered landscapes. I never played the Siberia games, never played the series, but maybe I'll check it out with this remaster. Might be kind of cool. No release date yet, other than coming in late 2025. Nintendo has expanded its online service with four Game Boy games. Not new, but Game Boy games. And they are Gradius, the Interstellar Assault, Survival Kids, The Sword of Hope, and Kirby's Star Stacker. All these games are available right now. Available on they launched on May 23rd, so you can check these all out right now. Survival Kids and Sword of Hope, I believe those are like RPG-ish type games. Kirby Star Stacker is a puzzle game, kind of like Tetris or something like that. And then Gradius, this is of course a shmup. This is a dumbed down version for the Game Boy, but it's still a shmup, and it's still Gradius. So there you go. And then finally, there are 6 more games leaving the PlayStation Plus service. Last time I talked about this, there was a much more. There's like 30 games leaving. But now these games are leaving June 17th, so it's a month later. So on June 17th, Monster Hunter Rise, After Us, Kayak VR Mirage, Rogue Legacy 2, Inscription, and VC Invector are all leaving the service next month on June 17th. A lot of people would recommend you play Monster Hunter Rise. Personally, I would say Inscription would be the one to play in this whole set. Make sure you play that to completion. Rogue Legacy 2, a lot of people love this game. And Kayak VR Mirage is a pretty good kayaking game for the VR. Very detailed. So there you go. That is it for today, folks. I really appreciate you listening. Let's go ahead and move on to the final part of the show, which is what's that song? If you know the name of the song or the game that it came from, let me know in the comments below or on Discord. Let's go ahead and listen to today's song right now. Okay, if you know the name of the song, game that came from, let me know in either comments below, on Discord in the Fair 64 section, on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, wherever you want, leave it there, and I will give you a congratulations or a super reaction on the Discord. And you will also get the admiration of your peers. All right, folks, thank you so much once again for listening to this episode. Hopefully my computer problems are at an end, but I will let you all know. We're pretty close to the Switch 2 release. It's only about a week away at this point. Maybe I guess about 2 weeks, maybe a week and a half. Yeah, pretty crazy. It came up fast. So I'll most likely be talking about that in 2 weeks. Stay tuned for that. Hopefully my console gets here day one. I Target was kind of iffy on whether we were going to actually get it on day one, but I got my fingers crossed. So, if you want to check me out, it's all at Yemmy the Ferret on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, Blue Sky, etc. I stream on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturdays when my computer is working. We are 1 week away from the summer event, which is going to be revealed right now. Sonic Summer is our event for the summer. Through June and July, we'll be doing a contest including Sonic games. I've been acquiring lots of Sonic games, as you know, and we are going to be using a wheel to decide what Sonic game we'll be playing next. We'll be starting with the original Sonic the Hedgehog. I will give all the details for the contest on the same day that this episode releases on Monday in the Discord. So if you want to check out all that stuff, the contest news and information will be there. But yes, Sonic Summer logo designed by Player2P2. Thank you to him. So if you want to check that out, all through summer, we're going to be playing Sonic games, and hopefully I do not burn myself out on Sonic. I've never been like the biggest Sonic guy, but I'm hoping that actually sitting down and playing the games all the way through will help with that. Okay, well, thank you so much, everyone, for listening and or watching. I really do appreciate that. I will see you all in the next episode. So long.
The Ferret 64 podcast is owned and edited by Yemmy the Ferret. Small sound clips used throughout the podcast were made by Yemmy the Ferret. The song in the intro and outro is Nightshade by Adhesive Wombat. The Ferret 64 logo was made by Player2P2. News sources include PushSquare.com, NintendoLife.com, and PureXbox.com. All opinions, video game related, are my own. Thank you for listening.